The idea that motivation is something you wait for is fundamentally backward. People often sit in their cluttered rooms, in the chaos of their lives, waiting for a bolt of lightning to strike them with purpose. But it doesn't work like that. If you wait until you feel like it, you'll be waiting forever. You have to begin with what's right in front of you, and that usually means putting things in order, literally. Clean your room, not as a trivial act, but as a symbolic gesture, a declaration that you're taking responsibility for at least one corner of chaos. When you act, even in the smallest way, you begin to structure your reality. And in that structure, something remarkable happens. You begin to feel a sense of purpose. Motivation doesn't float down from the sky like divine inspiration. It's not some magical force, it's a consequence of competence. When you take a small step toward order, you begin to believe that you can act, that your actions matter, and that belief starts to build momentum. That's the real seed of motivation, the evidence of your own capacity. You earn it not by waiting, but by moving, even if it's just cleaning your desk. You know exactly what you're avoiding. Everyone does. It's that conversation you keep putting off, the project you never start, the health issue you pretend isn't there. And you think, maybe if I just ignore it long enough, it'll go away, but it doesn't. It grows like a dragon in the basement, feeding off your fear. The longer you avoid it, the stronger it becomes. There's something ancient and psychological at play here. The things you most need are hidden in the places you least want to look. That's not a metaphor, it's a rule. You don't get stronger by running from chaos. You get stronger by confronting it, voluntarily. Not because you're fearless, but because you decide to face it anyway. That's the path forward. Look directly at the thing you're dodging, write it down, describe it in painful detail, and then move toward it, step by step. The discomfort you feel is the signal. It tells you you're on the right track. What you fear holds the information you need to grow. So stop pretending you don't know what it is you know. The question is whether you're willing to face it before it devours you. People chase comfort like it's the ultimate goal: more rest, more ease, fewer challenges. But comfort, when pursued as an end in itself, rots your soul. It makes you soft, anxious, and resentful. The truth is, you don't need more comfort, you need meaning. Something difficult, something heavy, something worth the suffering, because life is suffering. And if you don't find something meaningful to carry, the suffering will crush you. But if you voluntarily shoulder a meaningful burden, the suffering transforms into purpose. That's where real motivation comes from, not from fleeting pleasures or dopamine highs, but from the deep and abiding knowledge that what you're doing actually matters. Ask yourself, what is worth the pain? What ideal is so powerful that you would restructure your life around it? It's not about feeling good, it's about becoming someone good. Comfort is easy, you can buy it, you can sleep through it, you can drown in it. But meaning, that requires effort, it requires sacrifice, it requires confronting the chaos head on and shaping it into order. You don't get motivated by numbing yourself. You get motivated by doing something that justifies your existence, something that makes the suffering worth while. You cannot build motivation on a foundation of lies. Not the lies you tell others, though those matter too, but the ones you whisper to yourself in the dark when no one else is listening, the ones that let you off the hook, the ones that say, it's not my fault, or I'll do it later, or this is good enough. Those lies rot your character from the inside out, and the worst part is, you know you're lying. You always know. That's where the bitterness comes from, that quiet, gnawing resentment you carry. It's the consequence of self-betrayal. Because when you lie to yourself, you sever the line between who you are and who you could become. So the first step toward any real motivation is truth, brutal truth. You have to articulate, as clearly and honestly as possible, what you want. Not what you should want, not what your parents or friends or society told you to want, but what your soul demands of you, what you would aim at if fear and shame weren't standing in the way. And then you have to look at the cost. Because every real goal costs something: time, effort, sacrifice. You don't get to stay who you are and become who you're meant to be at the same time. One of those has to go. You sit down with a pen and paper and you write it out. What am I avoiding? What am I pretending not to know? What do I actually want? You answer honestly, and when the answer hurts, that's when you know you've struck gold. That's your path. That pain is the compass. And here's the hard part. Once you know the truth, you don't get to unknow it. It haunts you. If you walk away from it, you walk away from yourself. But if you accept it, if you lean into it, you can use it as fuel. Because there's nothing more motivating than knowing exactly where you stand and exactly what needs to be done. It's not easy, it's not comfortable, but it's real, and real is what you need. If you want to build a life that matters, you have to speak truthfully to yourself, especially when it's inconvenient. That's where the real work begins. Responsibility isn't a punishment, it's the path forward. The modern world is obsessed with rights, comfort, and self-expression, but it forgets that none of those things mean anything without responsibility. You want to be motivated, then pick up something heavy. Willingly, not because someone told you to, but because you chose to. Find something worth carrying, a task, a goal, a person, even your own damn potential, and commit to it fully. That's where your strength will come from. The paradox is this: the more responsibility you take on voluntarily, the more powerful you become. You don't shrink under the weight, you grow to match it. You become more precise, more disciplined, more grounded. Responsibility forces you to develop. It turns you into someone other people can rely on, and someone you can rely on yourself. That's not oppression, that's liberation. People are desperate for motivation, but they forget that meaning doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from shouldering the heaviest load you can carry and walking forward anyway. That's how you earn self-respect. That's how you transform. And that truly is how you begin to wake up in the morning with fire in your chest and purpose in your step.